The numbers of Somalis is very important for the conversation of immigrants in South Africa, of illegal immigrants in South Africa. There's discussions on Spaza shops, the issues of xenophobia. I mean, whenever the discussion of xenophobia happens, whenever the discussion of illegal immigrants happen, there's always the assumption that there's millions of them, and the next line is Somalis and Pakistanis, etc. So
what we educate our children on is: you are Somali, you are Muslim, right? You are South African. My children's children, they may say I'm Muslim, South African. The grandchildren of to come, maybe they don't worry about these things. They worry about their South African.
Don't classify yourself as Arab.
No. Arab, this concept is there. But now here, classified as Indian, no. White,
of course,
no.
So.
Colored, no. So we are similar to the black people of this country.
In Conversation With is proudly sponsored by Africa Cash and Carry, Crown Mines, and shot on location at Cortuba Convention Center.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of In Conversation With. Today I'm joined by an illustrious scholar, one of the very important voices in South Africa that we do not hear much about or much from, but we do hear a lot about this community that our guest today represents. I'm honored, really honored to have with me فضيلة الشيخ Yusuf Muhamed Husain. فضيلة الشيخ, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام ورحمة الله.
جزاك الله خير, شكرا انك حضرت.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again, Sheikh Yusuf. It's been a long time.
جزاك الله خير.
What is the secret? You look younger every time I see you, mashallah, tabarakallah.
The secret here is that I have no problem at home.
No problem at home.
Yes. That's point number one.
Okay.
Point number two, I don't worry about this dunya, whether it comes, doesn't come, I don't worry about too much. So if we put this together, maybe make me to continue normal life.
MashaAllah, Allah يعطيك الصحة والعافية, Sheikh. Sheikh, Jazakallah khair for joining us. You know, when I opened up and I said the Somali community, it's a community that is very well known, is very often spoken about, but we don't often hear from the Somali community. We don't hear from them. I'm not saying anyone is to blame, but I'm just saying this is the reality. Do you agree that we don't hear from the Somali community itself?
If you mean in the level of the radio Islam,
just generally in society.
Yeah. This community, they got some special standards in terms of the system of living in South Africa. There's a lack of language, and also where they live together. They live together, they are together. So they do their things within the community of the Somali. If they live in other side of other communities, like myself, I'm living in Lodia, we interact with other communities in that side, and we know each other. So most of them are one place. When you come to Johannesburg, most of them are in Mayfair. They're living together. So when you come to the business, you find them different places, but most of them are in one place, and most of them, they got their community circle where they're living together. And the same thing is happening in the Indian community. Same thing is happening in the community when you go to the larger aspect of the other communities. So the same thing is happening to the Somali community. When you come to Pretoria, most of them in Pretoria West. So they got masjid there, they got madrasa, they got their own things, and they do their own business there. So that most of them, they are in between them, they are together. Then when you go to Cape Town, you find out they're based in Belleville. So they got their own business, they got their masjid there, and they got their madrasa. So that's how they are living. But if you're talking about individuals where there are no community there, then definitely they are with the other communities. They interfere with the other communities. They integrate with the other communities. They stay with the other communities. But when we come to hear from them, then you need now to go on inside them and ask them who are. That's why I'm today here, to speak about them.
Jazakallah khair. What is the history of Somalis in South Africa? When did the first Somali? I mean, you and I had a conversation about this years ago about my ancestry.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You remember? Yes. But for example, when did you come, and were you the first who came to talk to us about that?
Okay. I think the history of Somalis in South Africa is older than me. Right. I'm 21 years here. But in the history, if you go back to the history, they say there was about 400 individuals came to South Africa. It was early 1890 something. Those people, they came in form of soldiers with the British community, British colonists. They brought to South Africa. And those people, they settled in Cape Town and settled Johannesburg area. Most of them are in this area, Gauteng and Cape Town. But next wave came to South Africa was professionals, doctors who came to South Africa, and that was also early end of 18 something. They came later. Those were professionals. Beginning of
1900.
Yeah, 1900. Those officials, most of them are doctors, medical doctors. Then the third wave came here is with the independence of South Africa, 1994, 93, 94, and before that, some of them came. But most of the Somalis came after independence.
These Somalis who came in the late 1800s, are there records of them? I mean, like you and I had a conversation from my grandfather's mother's side.
Some of
they came from there.
Some of them we found them.
Really?
Yes. And I remember one they found here was Qasim, who I don't know his father. He was mayor of Jamestown. He shifted to UK now. He doesn't speak Somali, but his father used to speak Somali.
Really?
Yeah, they found them here. And some other families they found in some part of Johannesburg. The old men speak Somali, then their children don't speak Somali.
And are they Muslim today or they're non-Muslim anymore?
Children maybe left Islam.
No, okay.
But the old men, we get the Muslim here. And some of them they found in Cape Town area. But none of them existing now. All of them is old people, they died. And their children, we don't know where they are. So I was doing research in my PhD. Part of the research is how the Somali came to South Africa and where they settled and who came first and who came second and all that things. And I was trying to get those children of the great-grandfathers of Somali in South Africa. But unfortunately, I don't know where to go. So I'm still trying to get them. But it's reality that Somali came here and they dismantled with the communities here and we don't found them. But few families found 1993 and 94. And those people also, they died, no one left. But they are Somalis in South Africa who came that time, and they're still here, their children are here, but they don't consider themselves Somalis.
Of course.
And other communities, especially with the colored community.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did you come to South Africa?
Myself, I came as a teacher.
Okay.
I came as a teacher, and I'm still teaching the same place, 21 years.
You're teaching in Social Nguve, I believe.
Yeah. I came there
Da'wah.
to teach. Yeah, Da'wah.
No.
I'm still teaching there.
Okay. And the majority of Somalis in 1994, I mean, many of our brothers and sisters from across Africa came. Why was there such an influx, or what is it that drew Somalis to South Africa?
Okay. The first group came here after the Somali civil war took place. They flee from there to come to South Africa via Kenya, from Kenya to Zambia, from Zambia or from Malawi. Then they crossed the border, they came here. And they were welcomed by the ruling party of South Africa. They have been given chance to study or to work here. Then the other group came, officials came from other countries. The Somalis in South Africa you find with the different nationalities. I'm talking to you, I'm Somali, but I'm from Kenya. I'm not from Somalia.
Okay.
You find another one came from Ethiopia. You find another one came from other countries. Some of them, they went out of Africa, then they came back to Africa here for purpose of business or something else. So you find a different type of Somalis in South Africa.
So Somalis, it's a very diverse community.
Yes.
Even within itself.
That's right, yeah. And the majority of them are people who came as a refugee here, majority. But you find another type of immigrant to South Africa who are not refugees. They come here, some of them with work permits, some of them they came for business purposes. Most of them are refugees from Somalia, because of the civil war there. They came to South Africa and they settled here. And most of those people now, they are still, you find refugees there, but they've got the different categories now. Some of them are citizens, South African citizens. Some of them are permanent holders. Some of them are still refugees.
What, in your opinion, is the number of Somalis in South Africa?
There's no exact number. Myself, I want to know how many numbers, but they're talking about 60 to 70,000.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, that's why sometimes increase, number decrease. Some of them, they go, some of them they depart to South Africa. They go South Africa.
Now and then people talk about 500,000, 1,000,000, 500,000.
That visibility to see the people, how they are moving, doing business, makes them to believe that they're a big number. But what we believe is not, they are not more than 70,000 in South Africa.
If I think the whole of Lenasia, if you look at the amount of houses are built, if you look at the plans of Lenasia, it's about 17,000 houses in Lenasia. And if you say there's 4 per house, so the whole of Lenasia is about, should be 60,000 people, 70,000 people. You tell me that, I'm just thinking in terms of size, that's quite a small number.
We don't have a figure exactly what is the number, but that's what we believe they are not more than 70,000.
More than 70,000.
Mostly they are in Johannesburg, Pretoria, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, but you find them everywhere in South Africa. Every province, in the 9 provinces you guys, they got existence in KwaZulu-Natal, especially Durban, and you find them in Limpopo, you find them in Mpumalanga, especially in Nelspruit and Nas. You find them in Gauteng, everywhere in Gauteng, Belleville in Cape Town. We can say they are doing their business, their movement is everywhere in South Africa.
I mean, the numbers of Somalis is very important for the conversation of immigrants in South Africa, of illegal immigrants in South Africa. There's discussions on Spaza shops, the issues of xenophobia. I mean, whenever the discussion of xenophobia happens, whenever the discussion of illegal immigrants happen, there's always the assumption that there's millions of them, and the next line is Somalis and Pakistanis, etc. So there's the opinion, at least on social media out there, it's just like there's hundreds of thousands, if not close to
not that way. The social media put in the Somalis a big number, but visibility of the Somali is what we will see quickly. The Somali shop here, Somalis are here, Somalis are here. So they don't hide themselves, and they go everywhere. That's why they see the Somalis maybe a big number, but the Somalis they are not be more than 70,000. We don't have exactly what is the number, but we believe Somalis in South Africa are not more than 70,000. Some of them they say it's 100,000. Some of what we take the middle number. We say maybe it's 70,000.
What does the Somali society look like in terms of the structure? You are also a trustee of Albayaan,
that's right.
Majlis Albayaan, which is, I think, the eminent, predominant Islamic organization that manages the affairs of the Somali community. Tell me about integration. What is, from an Islamic perspective, what is the Somali opinions, position and view in how they view the rest of Islam in South Africa? Example, Ru'yat al-Hilal, Halal, Uqud al-Nikah, just generally these issues. Where is the Somali community?
Because the Somali community fits in that.
Yeah, and where do they want to fit? Because, especially on Eid, even my family say about me, Muhammad Noor, oh no. Or they ask me, when is your Eid? With us or with the Somalis? Did you fasting with us, fasting with the Somalis? So it's like the Somalis at
Albayaan started 1997 when the Somalis came here. They started as a small madrasa of tahfidh.
Where?
In Mayfair.
Okay.
Right. Then it was registered officially in 2006 as a non-profit organization. And the Bayan job is to facilitate the religious affairs of the Somali community. We got other activities of non-Muslim da'wah also, but mainly we are working on the Somali community. So this community who came here, they got old people, they got children, they got female, they got wives. So all type of the community are here. So those people, they mustn't lose their identity, Islamic identity. That's why on Somali language, that is Albayaan is working to accommodate them and teach them what is necessary of the deen and solve their religious problem.
Do you teach in the Somali language?
They teach in Somali language, they teach in Arabic, they teach in English, no problem. But the main thing is to keep the community Muslim. They mustn't dismantle or go outside of Islam or something like this. And in that way, we are contributing to the safety and security of the local people, and also for the government what is working. And the other side also, we want to keep our people straight Muslim, so they must involve these wrong things. That is Albayaan. When we come how to work with the other Muslim bodies, like Jam'iyyat Ulama, we get a good relationship with Jam'iyyat Ulama, very close relationship. And the time, I think, is a few years back, there was agreement between Albayaan Islamic and Jam'iyyat Ulama for the sighting of the Hilal. Then we came to that agreement. That agreement says, okay, because you can't control everybody. Some small groups maybe say, no, we fast with Saudi Arabia, we fast with that country or that country. But the general idea was, if South Africa, the moon is sighted in South Africa, then we go for it. For whether it's Eid or whether for fasting, Ramadan or the Eid day. Then it happened that some other groups, they say, no, we can't wait for Jam'iyyat, because Jam'iyyat Ulama, they don't accept Mozambique, they don't accept this one. They're waiting for Cape Town only. If it's not sighted in Cape Town, in South Africa, the border, political border, they don't accept it. So that some people say, no, it was seen in, moon was sighted in Mozambique. It's 350 kilometers, and Cape Town is 1 point something. Why wait for Cape Town and we don't accept this one? That was some type of idea. But the Albayaan say, no, we break fast with South Africa, and we fast with South Africa. That was the idea. Then it happened, some groups say, no, we don't do this. Albayaan is not police, you can't control the people. So the Jam'iyyat Ulama, we came another agreement and say, look, if someone sight the moon and Jam'iyyat Ulama didn't recognize it, you can break it, but Eid we do together. The Eid we do together. So that we went a few years again. After that, now we say if it's Southern Africa, if the moon is sighted in Southern Africa, what we do? You wait for Jam'iyyat Ulama, we do our Eid, or what we do? That's what we were discussing last year and this year also. And I think they came to the idea and say, if Southern Africa, the moon is sighted in Southern Africa, then we can break. And the Jam'iyyat Ulama is aware about that, inshallah ta'ala. And the other bodies of South Africa, like MJC, Cape Town, or our people in Cape Town also, they are dealing with MJC that side. So we know each other, and we got a relationship. But this is a big community. They cannot be controlled by another body but they listen to the people who speak their language, and Albayaan especially. So they are led by Albayaan, and Albayaan it got a relationship with Jam'iyyat Ulama, MJC, the Muslim bodies who existing in South Africa. So we are happy with that.
What are the type of challenges that the Somali that Albayaan deals with when it comes to the Somali community? What are the big challenges that you face?
The big challenges here is when it comes to the education side. These people, they want school, Islamic school. And the Islamic school, what we are having in our area where we are residing in South Africa, is mostly for our Indian Muslim brothers. These schools are most of them are expensive. And these people they are not high class business people, most of them. They are middle class or lower than that. So they are complaining why Albayaan is not getting us for a school, that Albayaan will take responsibility, and our children will learn Islam and stay there.
Is it
Islamic? They want Islamic school.
So do you think is is it only the issue of these schools being expensive?
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah,
That's the main thing. Is there no issue in terms of the type of content, content, or the type of aqidah, or the madhab, or that? Is that not an issue?
Not that issue, because what they do, those people who got ability to pay the high fee, their children are in the schools here, Islamic schools, so they don't got no problem. What I'm talking about, the majority of the people who cannot afford to pay those expenses, the expensive fees. So they are complaining now and say, why Albayaan is not founding a school that in our level, so our children can learn
So
there.
is Islamic education, is it a priority for the average Somali in South Africa?
Islamic education.
So do they?
Because because when they send the children to the public school,
yes, what happens then?
then it's a big problem now.
Is that an issue for
the drugs and this and that, it's a big problem. Yeah.
I mean, South African Muslims, like the Indians and Malays, we send our children to these public schools, and we seem to manage with the drugs and with the problems and all these issues.
Our community.
Why was your community different?
Number one, because maybe your community, they already suffer from that problem and they got a solution for it. So they know how to manage that problem. Our community, mother and father, they go for looking for bread for the children, and they send children to school. And from there, they don't know what's happening to the school. The culture is the culture of these people. The father and mother, their culture is to send children to the school where they came from, and they don't look about it. The environment is giving good tarbiyah. Environment, the school itself, where they came from.
Where they came from in
Somali.
Somalia.
It's enough for the children to be educated Islamically. But here is different. So that they took that measurement from there and they put it here, so they think everything is okay. When they see the child is not right, is something wrong, now they regret what's happening, what we do. That's what's happening at the moment. Maybe in future, they will come to the stage where you are now, so they manage their problem with the public schools. It can be happen, that one. But now, for the moment, they're crying, they want to get a Islamic school where it's handled by their people, the people they understand. And the fee will be acceptable. That is challenge number one. Challenge number two, when you come to the social life, people are not same. Some people, they got sources to survive. Most of them are dealing in the business. Most of them are depending on their businesses. Some of them, they never get chance. They are here, but they never get chance to do business for different reasons. So those people also, they are in need. So the Albayaan now, they must look after those people, look after them, make means for them. So that's why you are fine. Sometimes if you got a problem, people come to Albayaan and say, we have this problem and this and this and this. Someone is in hospital, no one is looking after him, or someone want to travel and got no transport. And some of them, the thing changed and they need someone to pay rent.
So you do a lot of social work?
Social work, we work. We got the orphans also, we look after the orphans. Those people who are killed in the locations, their children, they come to where the community stay, and the Albayaan must look after them. So we need to speak to the business people and say, they must look after the children, the orphans here. Because if their father get killed, we don't send back to where they came. They stay here, and must learn here. So we got a big number of the orphans everywhere we is existing, and Albayaan will look after them. Then the widows and all that things. Everywhere you go, social problem is there. But our Somali community is not taken out to show everybody. So that's how
it sounds, is it deliberate within the community to stay closed and to stay closed? Is that part of how the community wants to stay, for example, as Albayaan and other leaders in the communities? Is this what you're telling your people? Let us all stay together, let us stay closed, let us not open up. Is that part of the philosophy of what drives this? Does the community want to stay insular and stay closed like that?
That is the nature of the people. If I go to, for example, Cape Town, I look where the Somalis. I must go there. That is the nature of the people, right? If there's no Somali, then I must look where the Muslim is, or Indian community, or colored Muslim is there. That is the nature, because these people came a country which is 100% Muslim. So when they go there, first they look for the Somali. Whether they disagree or they agree, whether they like or don't like, you must look for the Somali, and he will accommodate them and welcome them. And
but if you look, for example, if you look at Mayfair,
yeah,
as an example, right, in Belleville in Cape Town, but there are brothers or sisters who came from other parts of the Muslim world, people who came from Egypt, people who came from Bangladesh and from India and Pakistan, who came now. We don't find a Mayfair for Pakistanis, a Mayfair for Egyptians. You might find a few Egyptian shops, right? But the Egyptians live everywhere, right? You might find the Pakistani shops, but they live everywhere.
That's why I say
they also come from Muslim countries.
Yeah, that's why I say the nature of the Somalis are to stay together. They live together. They come together because they share a lot of things. Besides the deen or religious side, they share the culture, they share the language, and they share also the style of life.
What does style of life mean?
Style of life, how to eat, how to cook, how to do it. So this is their way of life. So wherever they go, you get a restaurant, you get a shop, and they sell what you sell in South Africa, but how they live in the restaurants and what they eat, and there's special food for them, and they're doing everything. They got the spaghetti, they got rice, they got the way of cooking the meat also. They got their own way of cooking. So they like to go and eat. Normal people.
Somalis, you don't braai on Saturday like we braai.
Braai, they don't know. They are now start learning from you.
Sheikh, you've been here for 30 years. They're not doing braai in South Africa.
Myself, I didn't do.
Sheikh, you've been here 21 years. This is where
I never do a braai, but I attend the braai where they're doing and I eat with them, but I never do it. Because for me, it's not so important.
But it's part of South African culture.
Yeah.
This is like the very
That's
simple
why
way
if you
of
go outside, if I stay with the Indian, maybe 2-3 years, maybe I adopted that style of cooking, then I do it. But now in my community there, we know what we are doing and we do on that way, we continue. Maybe our children will do that. Our children now, they are taking the other people's way of life, so maybe they'll do it. So we give them a chance to do with other communities. For us, we are still our mind is what we grew up when we came here.
We are in conversation with Sheikh Yusuf Muhamed Husain, Trustee of Albayaan organization in South Africa. We'll be back after this.
In Conversation With is proudly sponsored by Africa Cash and Carry, Crown Mines.
In conversation with Sheikh Yusuf Muhamed Husain. Sheikh, Jazakallah khair again for joining us. What is the identity of your children?
Well, today or before?
Today?
When I came here, myself, I came with a passport here. I'm South African now, after maybe 6-7 years, because I came with work permit. I never got a tour of refugee way. I came with work permit here.
Okay.
Then after work permit, permanent resident, then I'm citizen now. My children also are citizen because they follow their father. And some of them are born here, automatically they are South African.
Do they identify as Somali? They identify as South African? They identify
for
as
For them, they say, we are South African.
South African.
Yeah.
Do they braai?
Yeah. And
oh, really?
And I keep them, I remind them and I say, look, you are South African, but don't forget your origin. You are Somali, right? Somali origin. Your father, your mother are Somali. Tribe, by tribe, you are Somali. So, mustn't forget your origin. I try sometimes to take some of them to take back to Kenya to see where the people are and all these things. Some of them I took there. But for them, maybe what they believe is they're South African. This is their country. But me, I got one leg there, one leg here. For them, 2 legs are here. So they consider themselves South African, and that is what's happening now.
What is the number or proportion of Somali brothers and sisters who are like your children now, who are born here?
Let us say,
new generation.
Myself, my children, most of them are not born here.
Okay.
They came with me.
All right.
And some of them are born here. But I think now from last 20 years, children were born here and they educated here, they finished their studies here. The Somalis of that type, maybe they say is 60%. 60% of the Somalis who exist in South Africa, they got families, they got children, and they are heading that way. Next 20 years to come, we don't know what's going to happen. But this is the situation now. The fathers and mothers like me, they still believe they're South African citizens, but they believe they're still Somalis.
Do you worry about this? Does it worry you? When you see your children, of course the culture will change, the identity will change a bit, and the grandchildren will change, etc.
That's what you worry about?
Do you worry about? What worries you about that?
The worry is what we educate our children on is you are Somali, you are Muslim, right? You are South African. You got three things: Muslim, Somali, South African. My children's children, they may say I'm Muslim, South African. The grandchildren of to come, maybe they don't worry about these things. They worry about they're South African. So that expectation is there. If the Muslim bodies and Muslim organization does not work hard to keep those people in Islam, we don't know what's going to happen after 50 years from now or 40 years from now. Children of children, maybe they say, my great-grandfather was Muslim, great-grandfather was Somali, great-grandfather was Somali. That happened to the people who came before us. Like the Somalis you found here in Germiston. Yeah, that happened to them. But the situation is different. Those people, they never get who handle them. Islamically, they never get people there. They came here and they got no people behind them. But the generation of today, they got Albayaan, they got other Muslim bodies, they got the Jamiat Ulama, they got the Muslim communities here. So it's different. But how long they can stay to be 100% Muslim? How long they will stay? We don't know. If we work hard, maybe inshallah. And Allah is there. Allah will protect them. And that's what we want. Be South Africa, be Muslim, keep your deen, and enjoy. No problem.
The Somali community is very often we read about the Somali community on issues of xenophobia, issues of security, and these kind of issues. Talk to us about this. The question is always, how do Somalis end up with Spaza shops in the middle of nowhere? I've been to these places where some places, and even in the townships, local South Africans or black South Africans, I'm sure you know all the arguments, you've read all the articles, and so I'll just leave you to talk about it.
Okay, when we come to the xenophobia side, xenophobia has a reason. The reason is our people, not only Somalis, but they talk about Somalis. They went to the places where the majority people are one side people, and they operate business there. Somalis are not coward. They know what they're doing. If you got the opportunity of business, they open the shop.
But a lot of people a lot of the discussion is this legal? Are they legal in the country? Is the business legal? The food is expired, etc. So yes, there is xenophobia, but a lot of what feeds into the xenophobia, there are legitimate claims. I'm not necessarily saying that every case mentioned is 100% correct, but this is part of the discussion.
Okay. When it comes to the xenophobia reasons, people are good, but sometimes are motivated by other parties. Maybe political parties or what level of maybe a small community inside, maybe other business people are motivated to this thing to take place. But when it comes to the expiring food, it can happen. But when it comes to the Somali community, we never see that someone die in a Somali shop or someone happened that. The human being mistake can take place. But Somalis intentionally to sell expired food to the people, that is not happening.
Is this something that Albayaan talks about?
We talk about it.
You talk about it in your members, in education, you tell the people?
And we tell the people also they must legalize their businesses, right? This country gives us a chance to do business, but we have to legalize our businesses. We must register our businesses to do what we can do it. And if it's not possible to register, you must look another alternative to do business. That we encourage our people to do these things. But intentionally to do something to harm the community here is not right, because we are benefiting from the community and they are benefiting from us. And what we expect is this issue of foreigners are doing this and foreigners do this is something motivated by other parties, other business.
But are you saying that foreigners being, we talk about the Somali community, are like 100% always, is it possible that every time there's a claim against the community, that every time they are innocent? Are they innocent 100% of the time?
You can't say
the
innocent 100%.
Okay.
Because they're human being. Mistake can take place, can happen, anything. But intention, nothing wrong done to the community or to harm someone. That's number one. Number two, when we come to illegal businesses, those people who are original from Somali, from Sabo, he got a shop. He's South African citizen, but he got shop in the location. So what they consider is a foreign. Because they don't see the document, is the owner South Africa or not South African. Because his face is Somali. So they say these foreigners. And this one you need to go back and check who is foreign, who is South African. Most of the Somalis now, I can't say majority, but many of Somalis are South African and they got business in the location. This is their business. They got the legal businesses. But when the problem comes, they are the same like other people who will be victim for.
But maybe then entities like Albayaan should do a better job at talking about Somali issues.
Albayaan can take when the thing happen like this.
But proactively, because I mean it's very interesting to say that many or most of the brothers and sisters who own shops are illegal. Don't you think, or do you have media campaigns in these locations, campaigns in these areas? Not necessarily an expensive media campaign, but are the programs to educate the communities
that is needed to do. It's very important to make the people aware about that, to make the people to understand what's happening. That we never take that step was never taken. Was not taken by us before. But what we do, we just inform the people. If something happened, before the thing happened, you must legalize your business. You must cooperate with the authorities. You must do what is necessary to do. So if something happened, Allah forbid something happened, then we need now to stand for the people and accommodate them.
It was all over national media 2 or 3 years ago, the incidents in Port Elizabeth. And there were videos of Somali businessmen walking around with guns and shooting at other South African citizens, taxis and so forth, etc. I mean,
that we saw in the media. And how it was done, we don't know. I used to go to Port Elizabeth. We got a branch there, Albayaan branch there. And when we asked the people, everybody say we had this one. There was a problem between the taxi driver and the other Somalis. But the shooting took place. We don't know how it happened. But later the government came and solved the problem. But with the big gun, when you see the big gun there, we don't know who is that. It was the face we saw there. Is it Somali? Is a white man? Is Indian man? We don't know. But we saw in the media. Whether it's fabricated, we don't know.
So these people were carrying the guns according to your information?
No. There's a taxi driver and another taxi driver. The Somali was driving a small car.
Okay.
And this one was a big one, taxi driver. So I don't know how things happened, but the fight was there.
But according to what you said, the Somalis...
No, I didn't see the firearm.
Okay.
And they never tell me about the firearm. But there was a big problem. Big problem, yeah. Really, something happened there. But we don't know how things start. But what we know is the government came and solved the problem. And everything was...
Do you have a lot of faith in the South African government? What's your relationship with the South African government?
Yeah, with a relationship. Because our organization, when we come to the organization, we got organization registered. We got the system. And SARS also, they know our organization. We got the accountant, we got financially everything, we pay it and everything. And we got also tax exemption. And everything is in order.
I mean, but at a broader level, like with the councillors in Mayfair, with the councillors in Cape Town, the political parties, the politicians, and so forth. Do they engage you? Do they talk to you?
We never engage with the president, but the lower the president, the mayor, councillors of our areas, all of them we engage with them. We know them. In Mayfair, we invited the mayor of Johannesburg. The councillor in our area also is with us. We know them. We sit with them. We engage with them. Because we are part of the community now. Whether we like, we don't like, it's a part of the community. So we have to do these things. And we got other members of the community also. They are very, very close to the government agencies in our area, especially the police and this, and we are involved. Not everybody, but you got to assign the people who working with the police, working with the council and all that things.
Is the Somali community close to other Muslim communities, like the traditional Indian community, the traditional Malay community? What type of relationship is there? I mean, for example, something when I speak to many ulama and many religious from the traditional, like your Indian based and your Cape Malay based, actually last night I was in Lodium, was talking to Maulana Abid.
Maulana Abid in
yes.
PMS.
Yes, he's my uncle. He's my wife's uncle. And he mentioned, he said, our masjid here, and this is something that many ulama tell me, they said the demographics have changed over the years. They say before our masjid was the traditional Indian or traditional Malay colored Muslims, but over the years now it's changing. There are a lot of foreigners, mostly Somalis in the masajid now. The demographic of the musallis has changed. As the Somali community now having that representation in these traditional older masajid, do you believe you're accepted there? Do you feel you're welcome there? Do you see you being accepted? Not to say that you're not accepted, but for example, are there Somali ulama at these masajid? Are there Somali imams who give the khutbah? Are you represented in the non-Somali structures, especially masajid? Because it seems everyone says there are more and more Somalis in our masajid.
Okay. First of all, the Somali community, they show themselves their existence in this country. In terms of they got their own masajid. Their masajid, the Aimma of our masajid, they welcome and invite the other Maulanas, other ulama to give khutbah, to give in our masajid. That's number one. Number two, they don't prevent us to give khutbah in their masajid. For example, I used to give khutbah in Metro Masjid in town, Pretoria.
But Metro Masjid is a different type of masjid.
Yeah.
It's very cosmopolitan. Like,
yes.
It's a lot of different. So that's not like.
There's no a way that we can say someone prevent us to do khutbah or to give a ceremony, something, religious ceremony to give in the other masjid. But the most of things is our people, our ulama, when they come here, we need to Dar es Salaam of Loria. We take the Sheikh Muhammad Abdi Umar, who came from the Mufti of Somalis in Kenya. He came here, we took there, and he gave a kalima, and it was translated by someone else. So that's happening. But now it's 20 years, 25 years, because I think most of them now is less than 30 years or around 30 years since they came here. So lack of language is there also. So most of them, they speak Arabic and they speak Somali, and so that also make them to try to get a way for the language that they can speak to the people. And number also is not big number, so that you can send every Maulana, every Sheikh to every masjid. It's a small number of ulama who came here. But inshallah, next 10 years to come, you will find a ulama or mushayikh or Maulana who's originally Somali, but they speak English well and they can go for the other masajid and they can do it. But the point I want to come is, there's no barrel to say Somalis are not going to the Indian Muslim masajid and the Indian Muslims are not going to the Somali masajid. Our masajid here, especially this one in Mayfair, we welcome also the ulama of Somali, of Indian community or the colored community. They come to us. Hassan Henrik was, Allah yarhamu, is invited here on our conference, yearly conference we got every year. Maulana Ibrahim Bam always in our masjid here, he comes here. Whenever we got a function, we call him, he comes there. Maulana Sallu of Masjid Jamia, he comes also to give khutbah. So we are working together. There's no barrier between us and the other ulama of this country. And the time will come, inshallah, it will be better way. But if you put it in that way, there's no conflict, no fight, no problem there. They are busy, we are busy also, but we are working together. There's no something that can prevent us, their masajid, or prevent them, our masajid. So we are working together, and we have to do this. We have together for the benefit of Ummah. People can get, me and you can get a different view for something else. But we are still brothers. We can work together and we have no problem. You see, and we must look for the big picture, for the Muslim, for the service of the community, and we work on that way. If me and you got a problem with our business, we mustn't bring our business problem to the serving of the Ummah. So that can happen, right? This is a masjid, and the authority of this masjid is different from that authority of that masjid. But when you come and say, if any Somali can become a board of other masjid of the community, we never go that level up to now.
The Somali community, let us understand it better. What is in the Somali community? There's businessmen. What do these businessmen do? Are they just into spaza shops? Or are they businessmen who are in real estate, in property, in more substantial types of businesses? Are they, because everyone thinks Somalis only own spaza shops.
No,
is that
that
true?
concept is totally wrong. You get them in real estate, and that was started when they came here. Not all one, but now they got the groups now doing good business, the real estate, and individual also.
What's good business?
In the reality, in the real estate,
like properties,
yeah,
buildings,
property,
like big properties, and so forth.
We got the group 50. Group 50 now they own a property. It's a group of businessmen came together, so they are buying and doing that business. Real estate is good. You got the individual also got the properties here. Some of them. I'm not talking about the level of the auctioneers or the big boss, but they are in property. That's number one. When you come to the business, don't spaza shop. They got cash and carries. The level of cash and carries. They got the big supermarkets. They got small supermarkets. They got a spaza shop, and they got restaurants. So all type of these things that I think spare parts they never go up to now. Spare parts they never go out, but when you come to the food stuff, the clothing, they got the big shops of the clothing, not the brand one, but they got big shops everywhere of the clothing. You got a part. So doing well in that business, and those people, alhamdulillah, if something happen, they don't suicide themselves. They start again, then they come again, and
so, they don't commit suicide. They start again.
No, they'll do it again and they'll come again.
What are the biggest threats to Somali businesses in South Africa?
Biggest threat to Somalia is two things. In my point of view, is two things. When you come to the legalization of businesses, then the local community, local government and this and when they register it, I can say some of the difficulties comes from them because they don't want to do everything as it is. Or they don't have, let me put in that way, they don't have time for that. But they can use other agencies to do the job. If somebody got a tuck shop, early morning you go to the shop and you close after the people close. So there's no time for him to go to the municipality and register his business and do that. But there's an alternative. He can give to the agent, pay them, they can do the job for it. That's number one. So the legalizing of the business is a challenge. Then the other issue of, especially when out of the town, which is everybody's facing, is the crime. Crime in the businesses. This crime is based for, most of them are based in the businesses and they're looking for money. So the Somalis are also suffering from that crime of business side. So if you put these together, is one part of the business. The other one is the documentation. Documentation is, when he came now, he's looking for refugee papers. He got a problem. Home Affairs, go, come. There's a problem, challenge there. Those people who got document before, to renew it was a challenge also because of the Home Affairs, how they work it. Some people, they apply for permanent resident. Long, like years back, never came out. Some of them are entitled to get a citizenship. They apply for citizenship, nothing came out. So this challenge is there now for the documentation and it's changing the status of the people. There's a big problem in the Home Affairs. Maybe other communities also they are facing the same thing, not only Somali community. That challenge is existing there, is there for the documentation. And the side of the crime. And crime is for everybody in South Africa, not only Somali communities. But because they are subject to the crime, because they're operating in the way that is easy to commit the crime. You know that.
What is the success to the Somali Spaza shop model. I mean, I even remember one of our ministers, once there was one of these xenophobic attacks, and the minister said to the meeting, these foreigners, they should impart their knowledge and to the community and share knowledge with the community on how to run this business, etc. But what is the success? What is the success to the Somali model? What is the Somali model? How does it work?
When they come to the Somali, I can't tell you Somali qualify from university to do business, but he can come without any qualification to start business. When they start business, first, number one is tawakkul ala Allah. They depend on Allah. And second thing is brave. They are very brave to do the business. Very brave? Yeah. Very brave to do the business. Mean? Yeah.
What does it mean, brave, in terms of business?
He can do it and he's ready to lose.
He's ready to lose?
Yeah. And he got no problem.
Really?
That is number one. And after tawakkul Allah subhanahu, number one is the braveness. So he's brave to do the job and you don't regret if something happened. Number two. Number three, those people when they buy, they try to minimize the consumption of what they do. They use only little of what they're doing so that the business can grow it. And they are working hard. In some incident, again, in the locations, the local guys, tuck shops, and the Somali tuck shops, sometimes they come and say, how you do these things and you make money I can't make. My people are buying from you, they don't buy from me. He say, look, you buy, where you buy the stock, or you get maybe cheap, or maybe you get, that's why you sell cheap. Say, no. You buy 10 rand, right? And you sell 15 rand. I buy 10 rand, and I sell 12 rand. So the customers come to me. He's right. For me, I want to sell and go back and buy again and sell it again. But you want to stay with the 15 rand. Sell the way I'm selling, then we do the same thing. And keep whatever you do business, keep it. Don't play with the money. Keep it until your business grow up and you catch up and you can do what you are doing. So the success for the Somalis is, number one, they tawakkal ala Allah. Number two, to do these things. The person is very brave to do it. Most of them, maybe they don't have experience of business. They are not qualified as a business people, but they depend on this. And he loses, he go it, 1, 2, 3, next time you find his success and everything is okay. Then they try to manage the money. They don't play with the money. I don't say every Somali, but most of the people, they manage the wealth well, so he can grow from the sack shop, expand the shop, or shift for another bigger one. Then tomorrow you find a supermarket. That's how they do it. Number two, if he came here, for example, he got nothing to start. He can call Muhammad Noor. Muhammad Noor is his cousin or somewhere in the world or somewhere who can help me. Send me money, I want to start business. They give them, they help each other.
They help each other a lot?
Yeah. He send money to start. Some of them, they come right, some of them don't come right. But they used to help each other and to do the business. Sometimes they come together, they do the business. When everything's gone down, well, then this one go his own way and this one is own way. That's how they help each other. Right? So this help each other, plus what I mentioned, make the people, we are talking about the majority, to succeed in the business and to survive. And he believes that if he doesn't do business, where is going to survive and where is going to get money? He can't beg the people, and government is not giving. So everybody came to do something so he can survive and he can support his family.
You said that even if they don't have experience, they would start the business, etc. It brings me to a question, which is, Somalis who come to South Africa, most of them, especially the refugees, wherever they are, what type of background do they come from in Somalia? So Somalis in South Africa, how many of them come from Somalia? How many of them come from Kenya and other countries? And what type of backgrounds do they come from? I know it's a very broad and general question, but what type of backgrounds do they come from?
Let us put it that way. Now. The one who stay in Somalia, young men of 20 years old, 25 years old, the people who are coming out is not same age. Let us say 20 years old above. He came here to South Africa to... South Africa is not 100% safe but it's better than that side. So some of them, they came here to see, maybe I will get better place, safer, more safer the place. So they come here. So to come here also, he need to survive, he need to eat, right? Because he came here not to go somewhere else, he wants to stay here. To stay here makes him to make a living. So to make living now, only the option that he can do is to work for someone else. Maybe 2-3 years. Then he earned experience from that business. Then he got to open his own business, right? Other communities share with us, like Bangladesh and other people, they share with us this concept of the business. So the background there, maybe he can learn it, maybe he never attended school, but the most of them, they finish Quran. They know Quran.
Really? They know Quran.
Yeah. Most of them, they finish Quran, they learn Quran, and they understand some Arabic. So most of them are like this, because the base is Quran that side. They teach them Quran. When the children is 4 years, he must go to Katatib al-Quran. He study Quran. Some of them, they finish, some of them, they don't finish. Some of them, they finish 5 times. So when he come here, any Somalis here, 99% they know Quran. So this, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them because they're people of Quran. They know Quran. Someone was saying, the Somali community, you find five things you find with the Somali communities, wherever you go. He says, number 1, you find them with Quran. Business, wherever you go. Salah, right? The thing he say, you got Tawheed with them. They deen, they don't do wrong things. The 5th thing he says, hijab. Wherever you go, the hijab with the Somalis. And they're proud to be with the hijab. They don't care about when Somalis came here. Some of the Indian communities say our female, when they say you are female here, they now get encouragement to put the hijab. Before they feel, when they come to the masjid, they put it outside, nothing. But now the Somalis are walking in the streets and everywhere with the hijab, then our females were encouraged to do the same thing. And alhamdulillah, everybody now is benefiting for that. And the Somalis are the origin of that concept. The ladies, they go hijab everywhere and they don't worry. And she's proud of that, with the hijab. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So this is the type of community where we are. And if someone come like you and say, go with the interview between them, maybe you get a fresh answers from them straight and how they work and all. The other thing is Somalis, whether he's learned or not learned, he can give you the answer you want. That level of they're very brave to give you, talk to you, and no problem. And they're proud of to be Somali and to be Muslim and to be South African. For them, it's okay, no problem.
Very proud of their identity.
Yeah.
Excellent. We in conversation with Sheikh Yusuf Muhamed Husain. We'll be back after this.
In Conversation With is proudly sponsored by Africa Cash and Carry, Crown Mines.
Welcome back in conversation with Sheikh Yusuf Muhamed Husain. Sheikh, we know when we speak about Somalis who come to South Africa, one of the first Somalis who were mentioned in South African media was Khalfan Muhammad Khamis, I think. He was the Somali individual who was extradited from South Africa to the United States of America for involvement in the bombings in Yemen, the USS Skull. I mention this because Somalis are also mentioned often when it comes to ISIS, to terrorism, Shabab, extremism, etc. Talk to me about this.
First of all, for Khalfan, first time I hear from you, I don't know him.
I mean, he's mentioned in media in the early 90s.
Yeah, I don't know that name. Khalfan, I don't think it's Somali. That name is not Somali. It can be, but it's not. We don't know. It's not familiar to me that Khalfan is Somali. Maybe it's other names. When we come to the labeling the Somali community, they are like this, they are like this. The reason is one thing. They are Muslim community 100%. And they are proud to be a Muslim. And they show that they are Muslim. They don't hide their Islam. That's number 1. Number 2, when these things, allegations comes to the Somali community, they don't go to defend themselves and say, we're not this, we're not this. They carry on their life and they don't worry about it.
Or really they don't respond.
Right.
Do you ever get, do you as Albayaan, as the leaders of the community, do you ever get inquiries from South African authorities for other engagements or something of that nature?
Yes. They used to come to our office, the intelligence come to the office to discover and see what is the Somali community and what is Albayaan itself and what's happening there. They used to come to us, to our office in Johannesburg, to get, because other people can give wrong information about Albayaan or about the Somali community. So they came to see on the ground what is the Somali, what they are doing, and 100% the intelligence and the authorities are with us. They got their own eyes and they know what's happening and nothing can be hidden from them. For us as Somali community, especially Albayaan, what we are doing is black and white. We got masajid, you got madaris, we are teaching Quran, we are performing salah, and we are Muslim and we got right for that. That's suspicious activities of Al-Shabaab and this and this and this. Those things has no way in our life, has no any activities in our organization, our community.
In the community?
We can't
There's
say
nothing in the community?
individuals. We don't control the individual, but there's no organization of that type in the Somali community. That's what we know. Because this thing is related to religion.
Yes.
And we are working in the field of religion. So we are the most people who knows that things, if it's there. We don't know. Individuals, you can get a supporter. They say maybe some people are supporting, but they are not organized people or group, or we don't know that things. But someone can say, no, what Shabab is doing is right, or this one is doing is right. Someone can say like this, individuals. But for us, what we are educating our community is that those people, they don't represent Islam. They don't represent Islam. And Islam has no anything to do with the terrorists and terrorism and all that things. That's how we educate our people. And we are teaching our children from young. This thing is wrong. And when they get 20 or 40 years, 20 or above 20 years, they go outside. They must go with the concept of the correct and wasatiyah of Islam. We don't want that things to unfold. That's why Albayaan here is educating the people to tell. If someone come with the ideas of that, Albayaan reject and say it's not right. It's totally wrong. Here in South Africa, we got no problem. And we are not allowed to create a problem. And we have to work to prevent any wrong idea to come to the Muslim community. Then you level tomorrow for something which is wrong. That is where Albayaan stands, where the Somali community as general stands. And we have no idea anything that we got the groups or we got other people who are facilitating something for those wrong people. We don't have. And you hope that we will not have in this country.
I mean, inshallah. So the question also is, people are refugees, and a refugee is something that's temporary. So after a while, things should get better in your country, and you should go back. That's the way many people look at this refugee issue. Are there Somalis who are going back to Somalia who want to go back? Does that happen? Now that things seem to be getting better in Somalia and.
These refugees of South Africa, Somali refugees in South Africa is different from the Somali refugees in Botswana or other countries different. These people are not in camp. They are not in camp. These people are in the community. So they got a status, different status. Refugees, and he's got a permanent resident and he's going to South African citizen, so they are part of the community here. If individuals want to go back, they go their own way. Some of them, they go back, they check it. If the situation is right, then they stay.
Are there individuals who've gone back and have stayed?
Some of them, they go. But they don't tell us we are going. Individuals,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the groups are going nothing now.
Okay.
Doesn't exist that one in that way of the groups going that day.
Are there still many coming into South Africa at the moment?
Not like before. Not like before.
Because it's more stable there, or because it's more difficult, or because of
difficult here.
Difficult.
And that side maybe is coming better. So that's why you don't find many people are coming here. The most of people, because they flee because of the problem there. The war is there. So the life is difficult there. Then people, they try to save a place. So now if that one is better, so there's no need to come here. If this one was paradise and that one is hell, then they come. This one also is not the paradise. No, it's a problem there. Safety and security and all that things, no problem. So ending of the day is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you to stay and to live, you leave it. So individuals, maybe they go. They check it better there. Some of them, they say, no, I go with my parents. Some of them say, maybe I take my children that side to stay there. Some of them say, no, here is better for me. I stay here and educate my children here.
Are you staying or are you going to go back one day?
Before when I came here, as I told you, I came as a teacher here. I was trying to, after 5 years, to go back to Kenya. But now I'm not going because my children are, first country for them is here. So I'm not going anywhere. Inshallah. I travel, but I stay.
No, I love you and I love having you in South Africa. You should never go back, Sheikh.
Yeah, inshallah.
You said you came as a teacher. You are teaching in Social Ngube for over 20 years now. Tell us about that's very interesting experiences. You came from out of South Africa into South Africa to teach Islam. What was that? Where were you before that? You studied in Jamia Islamiyya as well, right?
No, I studied in Jamia Islamiyya.
Yes, in Medina.
Then I was teaching in Taif. Then from Taif, I came to South Africa. Yeah. So I'm teaching there from 2003 up to now. I'm teaching there. What I'm teaching is Arabic. I'm teaching Quran.
Did you find a community? Did you find a madrasa, or did you establish it? What was it?
No, it was existing. The madrasa was existing there, and I started teaching, and up to now I'm there. And the majority of teaching we are the local people.
Is Islam growing? What is that environment like?
Yeah, environment is a boarding school first.
Okay.
Then we invite the students from all over South Africa and neighboring countries also. We got students.
Muslim students.
And those students, when they go for holiday, they bring other people with them. New Muslims. They bring it to us.
So do you primarily teach new Muslims?
Yeah. We teach new Muslims. And we got also the program for the new Muslims for the environment around us, Shonguve. We got a program. Now is program there for 5 days for the ladies. So the many people are coming to learn. Children.
Is Islam spreading?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Very, very fast, alhamdulillah.
What does very fast mean?
Then we go for example, the program out. That program, we put a tent there. So when the people come here, we got a program, feeding scheme there. So the many of them, they embrace Islam.
There's a question about people who embrace Islam, and they say, like many ulama and du'at will come and say, Islam is growing. But there's a counter argument, especially if you read, there's no stats on it, but from missionary organizations, Christian missionary organizations, other types of observers, they say that yes, they say even in Europe, there are many people who accept Islam, but there's a lot of people of these who accept Islam who don't stay, who actually eventually leave Islam. There's not a lot of retention. What is your experience in that?
That experience somehow is right. The other side is not right.
Okay.
Whenever a person becomes Muslim, if we don't look after him, and he goes back to the community he came from, and there's no Islam there, 90% he will go back to his community and will not stay with Islam. But for us, because we got a boarding school, when the people embrace Islam, we bring them to teach there. Minimum 6 months, he knows everything about Islam, then we send back. If you got other members of the community there, then you need to form some form of masjid or something, so they can stay there and they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they carry on in their life. And we invite their children to come and learn in the madrasa. Sometimes we invite also the counselor of the area. When you got the event there, we invite the counselor, he come there and he says, look, when they say how the children are producing, how they speak Arabic, how they Islam, even their own children, then they say, all of us, we have to do like this. Some of them, I remember, they say, her child, she's not Muslim, she's a drunk lady. Her child embraced Islam and he was learning in our madrasa. Then he did something wrong, they expel him. When he went there, she came crying. She came back to the madrasa and crying and said, why you take my child out? But they did something wrong in the madrasa, so that's why they chased him. I say, no, this child, when he came to you, he start obeying me, listening to me. Now if you send back, he will go back to the situation he came from. So please keep him because he's listening to me. When a holiday comes, he serves me, do lot of things for me. He's listening, he's obeying me. So if you chase him, then I lose him. He's a drunk lady. So that's what we attract the other people. So because they see their children are doing well, akhlaq, character, everything's perfect. So they listen to your parents. That's what we are teaching, to listen to your parents and do what good things to your people, your community. So in that way we are doing. But you can't say all the people are embracing Islam and becoming Muslim. But the fact is, if you don't look after them, yes, that will happen.
In South Africa, I'm sure you know, there's this, I won't say it's a constant debate, but every now and then, I mean, there's a reality, there's a divide between, again, it's being very general, between black South African Muslims, Indian South African Muslims, Malay and colored South African Muslims. Where do Somalis sit in that? Because you're African and you're Muslim, are you more accepted? Do you have better relations within the black communities and black South African Muslim communities?
We classify ourselves that we are your black community. That's number one.
You classify yourself as the black community?
Yes.
You don't classify yourself as Arab?
No. Arab, this concept is there. But now here, we classified as Indian? No. White?
Of course
no.
not.
Colored? No. So we are similar to the black people of this country. So that's why we when we fill the form, yes, white, colored, black, we both colored. We both black. Yeah. So we are more close to that one. When you come to the relationship, yes, we got a relationship with them.
Do you think your relationship with black Muslims and the black community is better than the relationship that is had currently with Indian Muslims and colored and Malay Muslims?
Right. That is right.
Really?
That's right, yeah. Why? Because those black communities, Muslim black communities, when they come to the Indian, they feel that the Indian community are not giving what they're supposed to give them. I mean, they are not supporting them the way they were supposed to support them.
That's the feeling.
Right, that's their feeling. But cannot be correct. Cannot be correct. Indian community also is part of the problem. How they are part of the problem? When those people, they become Muslim, and they see a Muslim community, a Muslim black community, how they educate them also is different. They say, come, they put in the madaris, and they teach them Urdu and teach them this way.
This is traditional Muslims in
yes,
Gauteng at least?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So the culture of Indian Muslim community, they must learn all these things. But those people, they feel there's no need for that.
There's no need for cultural.
Cultural. Let us learn Islam. Let us learn Arabic language and Islam, and that's what they want.
But it's difficult to learn
something
without taking part of the culture.
Yes.
I mean, you go to America and you...
So these people, the Indian, they want to teach them the culture with the Islam. But those people, maybe they feel no need the culture of Indian, they only Islam. And that cannot be separate each other. So there's a conflict there. That's number one. For us, when we come, they are close to us because we look like them. That's number one. Number two, we are operating in their areas. We are mixed to them. Number three, we don't have that ability of another Indian community to build masjid for them. The Indian doing a building masjid in the location, you know that.
Yes.
When they build the masjid, then the other Muslim community, black community, they come here. So sometimes they feed, they support them. So maybe when they see there's a conflict between the Muslim brothers there, then they pull out. For us, we never go at that level. We are still, if we support, only maybe we pay teacher salary in the location, something of that sort, which cannot create a big conflict.
Okay.
We are in that level now.
You're in low risk.
Yeah.
Low risk support.
Low risk support. But the Indian, they build a masjid, they do good things in the community. Is something wrong, that then they pull out.
It impacts the whole relationship.
Yes. So now there's Indian, that's coming. So that's need to be fixed, and it's easy to fix it. Somalis, Indian, black Muslim leaders, they come together, they solve the problem and say, look, let us work on the base of Islam. You are Muslim, we are Muslim, he's Muslim, basis of Islam, nothing else. Forget about the cultures and basis of Islam. How we can serve the Muslim community in this country. What we have to do.
But I mean, but there's nothing wrong with Islam and culture, because people express Islam with their culture in different parts of the world, right? An example, the way Somali woman wears hijab, the way an Arab woman wears hijab, the way a Nigerian woman wears hijab, the way Indonesian woman wears hijab. It's hijab, but there's culture.
Yeah,
right.
It's different ways.
So
it's different ways. That's why
so there's nothing wrong in saying
basic things. Keep your culture, but basic thing is Islam. How we can do together and work together. So those people, if you educate them nicely, inshallah ta'ala, they got the how many Muslim bodies also. Oh, they got, I know the one name is Khawtain Shura.
Yes.
Khawtain Shura. If they got support and they welcome and work together and do that, they can do a lot of things, because it's the gateway of the local community there. You can be invested and you can be, they can be a key way for us to those people. But if they feel that they're boycotted or they separate, then those people, they talk about the Muslim community, say Indian is like this, Somali is like this one is like this. But I think if we get the good people, they go there, they take that idea to bring those people together. There's something you can't fix it, right? You can't make the Indian black. His color, you can't change it. That black, you can't make India. Somalis, you can't make India. This thing is something Allah created like this, you can't change it. But you can come to the ideas together and say, what is the basis we can work together?
What do you think that if there was better coordination between the different expressions of Islam, in at least in Gauteng and in South Africa, what do you think that would lead to? What would we achieve through that?
I think...
Is it even necessary? Because everyone's going to the masajid, everyone's doing the ta'aleem, everything really
right.
seems to
but
be okay.
If we get a body, Muslim body who contains from this side and from that side together, so they can facilitate, that body can facilitate everything that is needed from the black Muslim community, Indian Muslim community, and Somali Muslim community. That body can work. One group can work for those things. For example, if something good came to the community, the Saudi Arabia was given 2 years back, I think they bring a big hambas on a lot of things. Now they want looking for people to use and convey this message or this food to the needy community. They came to Muslim Indian community, they came to Somali community, they came to the black community. So who's going to do this job? Now if you get some type of body of that type, they can come together and say, look, we do it this way. You come, do this way, you come this way. So it was easy, but now they don't know where to go.
I want to ask you the next question, talking about these bodies. Do you engage with the United Ulama Council of South Africa, UCSA?
We are under UCSA.
You're under UCSA?
Yeah.
And
Albayaan is under UCSA.
And what's your, so there's a national organization. What's your valuation of that type of, what type of input from the Somali community do you give to entities such as UCSA?
There's no direct input from the Somali community.
Okay.
But what we believe and what we know, that the South African Muslim community, they must have that type of a body, right? So, for example, in our constitution of Albayaan, says if Albayaan is, for example, finished, no one existing of them, these properties and these all belongings of Albayaan will go to UCSA.
Really?
Yeah. Because Somalis are not going to take these things. Where they go? I died, the other died, and no one.
So the constitution says that the assets of Albayaan.
Constitution says whatever of assets the Muslim will benefit here, right? And they will be controlled by UCSA.
So you have faith in the South African Muslim structures?
100%.
What was it like when you came to South Africa in the first time? Trying to meet South African Muslim ulama, trying to understand, because it was of course very new for South African Muslims also here, for us.
I myself, and
the community. What was it like to start this?
I was not new to Indian Muslim community in South Africa because I studied in India.
You studied in India?
Yes.
Where and when did you study in India?
Nadwat al-Ulama.
MashaAllah.
My name is Yusuf Muhamed Nadwi.
And
So I studied there, and I know I studied there 1986, 87, 88, 3 years over there. So I get my first alim course there. That's why when they give in Nadwi. And when I came here to South Africa, by the way, I found the people saying Maulana, Maulana, Maulana. I say, what do you mean Maulana? They say anyone who qualifies from Darul Ulum is called Maulana. And I asked those guys, where you qualify from Newcastle? They say we are qualified 2000, yeah. Qualified from Darul Ulum, Newcastle, 2000. I told them, I'm your father. They say, how? I say, because I'm qualified from Darul Ulum to Ulama, 1988. And they laugh as they...
So you... Not
so I'm not new to the Muslim community. In Kenya, I know them. They got the Muslim activities there in Kenya, so I'm from long time with them. And when I came here, I know who is a Muslim community, Indian Muslim community, I know them. For the other Somalis, when they came, maybe the first time to see it. But the Muslim community of South Africa are the people who accommodated our community when they came to South Africa.
Really?
100%. Because those people are Muslim. They need masjid, right? They accommodate in their masjids. They give them job. They welcome them. They look after them. So from that time, they are connected to each other. So the Indian Muslim community in South Africa and Somalis, you cannot separate each other. So from that time, they know. And always in any gathering, they mention that they are welcomed by the Muslims of this country. And they have been given a chance for their masjids. And some of them, they used to teach in the Masjid Jamia here. They given a chance to teach the people. They teach in Arabic or Somali. Definitely they don't know English, but they have been given a chance to teach. So we are still connected and we know each other. And those Jama'at Ulama, and we are together. We have no problem with them. Alhamdulillah. Everything is in order. And we need to increase all these relationships and carry on for the sake of Islam, for the sake of our Muslim communities, and also to cooperate and work together to convey this beautiful message of Islam to other non-Muslims, inshallah.
Inshallah. What do you see the future of South Africa? I mean, you come from a part of the world, Somalia, Kenya, you've been in India, you've been in the Mid East. You've seen a lot of the world. You're in South Africa, you are anchored here now with your children, as you said. What has changed over the last 20 years that you've been here within your community, within South Africa, and what do you see the future in South Africa overall?
For political side, religious side, anything.
All of it.
I hope that South Africa will go to the correct direction.
What is the correct direction?
Correct direction is stable political issues will be stable, inshallah. Financially, it will be stable. Safety and security also will be stable. That's what you want and everybody wants. But when you come to the means of that, to get that, then the many people come in, politicians, religious people, business people. Everyone must come and contribute that to get that target of.
What do you think religious people, religious Islam and other religions, do you think they can contribute? What do you think they contribute?
They can do it. They can do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Muslim and the Christian and the other bodies of the religious, they can do a lot.
What can they do?
When I get there, for example, for the Muslims, number one, they have to educate their people, right, in the correct way, and teach them the value of this country, the value of life in this country. So they prevent them from the crime, to commit the crime. They can prevent them to do wrong things like the corruption and all that things. So if they establish a good members of the community, and the other Christians do the same side, the churches do the same things, and the Judaism also, they do the same thing. All this will work if they produce a good members of the community. This will form good community, and good community will form a good government, because we don't know who's going to in the future will be in this position. So the people can do, and the religious can do well, and can support also the good cause of this country. That's why I see they can work, they can do. But if we leave everything for the politicians and leave everything for these things and we don't talk, then they will come back to us.
Where do you see the future of the Somali community in South Africa? Do you think a time will come when we'll see more Somalis living in Randburg and living in Midrand, and will they move out eventually? Will they still be in Mayfair in 20 years' time?
I think the people my age and older, whether they go back to Somali or they go to the grave, but the generation of today, 20, 25 and younger than that, they will develop many things in South Africa, especially the business and education. They will work a lot of things in South Africa, and they will be an active part of members of this country, inshallah, the way we see, because people are learning, they're learning business, they're learning this, they're learning that, and they continue to establish themselves. So the children of the Somali community of today, they will do good things in this country, inshallah. I hope.
Fadilat al-Sheikh Yusuf Muhamed Husain, it was a great honor and privilege to have you with us. Barakallah fi.
Jazakallah khair.
Hafidhakallah.
Barakallah.
Jazakallah.
Allah yabarak fi.
Shukran. Barakallah.
Khair.
That was His Eminence Sheikh Yusuf Muhamed Husain al-Nadawi with us here in conversation. Thank you for joining us. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In Conversation With is proudly sponsored by Africa Cash and Carry, Crown Mines, and shot on location at Cortuba Convention Center.